Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. So today what I have for you is a list of the top 50 items that I think will be bartered during a prolonged SHTF, without rule of law, economic collapse, grid down type situation. Kind of a post-apocalyptic, scenario. These are not going to be presented necessarily in any order. But the top 10 are ones that I think will be the big ones. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are probably going to be worth quite a bit in that situation. So, but anyway, number 50 through down to number 10 or so could really be at the top of the list depending on a person's situation or a person's need. There's just so many variables that we can't say for sure. So I started trying to kind of prioritize these, and I was like, this is crazy because it really could vary in so many different ways. So I'm not suggesting that these are necessarily things that you should stock up on. I'm just saying that I think these are the things that are going to have value, so it kind of helps you spur thought for stuff that maybe you want to have on hand, or you might look at, knowing where you can source these things from, or, whatever the case may be. It's really just kind of a thought exercise. So anyway, with that, let's get started. And I'll try to, I'll just name the item. If there needs to be an explanation, I'll throw an explanation in there. And then we'll just continue on down the line and get this done as quick as possible. So anyway, number 50 is blankets. Without having home and central air, assuming that the grid has collapsed, then I think blankets is probably going to be a big one. You could throw sleeping bags in there with that as well. Water purification devices. City water will probably not work anymore. Boiling will probably be the primary way, but having the quick ease and being able to do it quickly with a water purification type filter or whatever is probably going to be big. Gun cleaning supplies. The use of firearms will increase because of hunting and protection and security and all that kind of stuff. So gun cleaning supplies will be one. Batteries. All sizes of batteries. Double A's, triple A's, C's, D's. Those are going to be the big ones. The common stuff. If they're rechargeable, they're going to be worth a lot more. Arrows and arrowheads, or arrow type, nocks, inserts, those kinds of things for putting together arrows would be big as well. Trash bags, plastic bags, or other sealable food containers are probably going to be a highly traded item. And let me just say real quick, also, barter, for the purposes of this video, basically means exchanging a good or service for another good or service without money involved. So, okay, so block ice, being able to preserve food and stuff like that. I think that's probably going to be one, or the ability to generate and make ice will be a big one. Medical training, it doesn't have to just be a tangible thing. Having medical training and being able to perform, being able to help heal people will be a big one. Repairing, and this is along the service lines here, repairing items, fixing stuff, or having a specific skill set like carpentry or welding or, a mechanic, that kind of thing. Just general labor, saying that, hey, I'll cut you a cord of firewood for, in exchange for these seeds, or whatever the case may be. I think general labor could be just security, providing security for people, for their farm, for whatever, that could be a potential source for bartering as well. Having the ability to recharge powered devices. So whether that be like solar panels, whether that be a generator, whatever the case may be, if you can take and recharge a device for someone, I think that'll have some value as well. And along those same lines, the ability to produce electricity in and of itself, like in generators, wind generators, and all that kind of thing would kind of fall in that same thing. Wax, candle wicks, or candles in general. I think those things will be, probably in pretty high demand as well. Sex. Now, let's leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Trading sex has been done forever, and it will continue to be being done forever. Cats and dogs. As sanitation decreases, mice, insects, that kind of thing, those all increase, and so you're probably going to see a higher demand to have cats around the area to keep to keep the mice down. And dogs is another one in this same category for security as well, and hunting and all that kind of stuff. Small livestock, especially breeding pairs of rabbits, chickens, goats, sheep, and even cattle. So those are probably going to be big. And books is another one. Just entertainment books for entertainment value will probably be pretty popular, but even probably more popular than that are going to be how-to books. How to fix something, how to do whatever. And these old-time skills. The what was it called? Like the Foxfire series. The things that retain the knowledge of the past are probably going to be pretty popular. Let's see here. Tobacco, cigars, cigarettes, chewing tobacco, all that kind of stuff. Junk silver, precious metals, and gold. I think that could be a form of currency. That's debatable. A lot of people have different opinions on that, but I think we'll probably see it in some areas for sure. And let's see here. What number are we on? Okay, that was 33. So 32 is eyeglasses. I think this is going to be a pretty big one, especially so many people use contact lenses. Eyeglasses are going to be big, so keep them old eyeglasses. And let's see here. Sugar or honey, or the ability to make sugar or any other kind of sweetener, that's going to be a big one. Razors, especially straight razors, that you can resharpen and reuse, on a regular basis. That will be popular, probably. Rice is another one. It's a simple carbohydrate, it's easy to store in large quantities. I think that'll be big. Flour and yeast, to be able to make bread. Another one is canning salt, and this one I got here on the list is 27. But canning salt, in order to store meat long term and to do it in a salt packing, you really need to have a lot of salt. So, 100 pounds of salt doesn't go very far, if you're trying to salt up, say 100 pounds of meat. You really need a lot of salt. So I think canning salt is going to be something that'll be pretty popular. Pain medications, over the counter or prescription, either way. Pain management is going to be something that's going to be pretty difficult, especially without, as readily having ready access to medical services and all that kind of stuff. Tea, coffee, caffeine, those are all going to be big ones. Those kind of beverage-based stuff. You might also throw in Gatorade and stuff like that in there as well, because everybody's going to get tired of drinking water. Baby diapers, formula, and wipes. Those are all, any kind of baby care product. I think those will be big ones, and especially the reusable versions of diapers and, all that kind of stuff. Feminine hygiene products. Again, especially the reusable type. Those are going to be pretty valuable. Wool socks. People aren't going to be driving everywhere. They're going to be walking. And a good, thick, cushiony wool sock, I think people will really refine the value in those. Boots and shoes. Again, you're walking a lot. They're going to get worn out, and they're going to have to be replaced. Clothing. I'll just leave it at that. Clothing. It's going to be important. You're going to be spending more time outside and all that kind of stuff. And I would say that in the clothing, heavy-duty clothing, kind of returning to the 18th, early 19th century kind of, a little bit more robust clothing. Fishing supplies. Anybody who is living around areas with, lakes, ponds, streams, and or on coastlines, fishing supplies, fishing tackle, all that kind of stuff is going to be big. And sewing supplies. Again, taking care of your old clothes, you know, having to sew those things up, that's going to be pretty popular. Bolts of material. You know, this is something that it's pretty cheap right now, and it could be used for such a vast amount of different things. But you know, having that bulk material is going to be hard because it's very difficult to reproduce without electricity and without, you know, modern day textile mills and all that kind of stuff. Toilet paper is another one. You know, people like toilet paper and they aren't going to like the alternatives to it. One suggestion or alternative to toilet paper is the old style phone books. You get the old big phone books with the real thin paper sheets. If you see those, keep them, because they're going to work pretty good as a toilet paper alternative. You know, it's a lot better than leaves or corn cobs or any of that stuff. Number 15 on the list is bleach. Self-explanatory. Liquid bleach, you know, doesn't really keep forever, but you've also got the solid type pool shock type bleach or powder form bleach. Those are going to be powerful for, you know, cleaning stuff up and disinfecting stuff, water purification, whatever the case may be. Soap, shampoo, toothpaste, and hygiene items just in general. Those are all going to be big. And number 13 is food. Now, that could be non-perishable canned goods, could be fresh vegetables from the garden. You know, you've got a lot of tomatoes, I've got a lot of peppers. Hey, let's trade, you know, do it like that. Number 12, first aid supplies, bandages, gauze, you name it, you know, just basic first aid supplies. You're out there doing manual labor and all that kind of stuff, and accidents are going to happen, so those are going to be important. Number 11, antibiotics and or other types of medicine, specialty medicines and that kind of thing for, you know, different sorts of afflictions. And number 10, Bic lighters, matches, and any kind of fire starter. You know, you're going to have to use fire for heating your home. You're going to have to use it for cooking water, everything. You're going to need to have fire in a lot of situations in a grid down type scenario. Number 9, spices. People are going to get really tired of eating the same old bland stuff, and having some spices is going to be important. That goes back hundreds of years in history. You know, we see that spices have been traded all over the world, and so I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. Drugs is another one. People like to get high, and they're going to like to get high as much or even more so after the fact. Heroin, opium, all that kind of crap. I don't advocate using it or storing it or keeping it. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just going to say that it is going to be something that's going to be traded. Along that same lines is alcohol. No question about that. Number 6 on the list is fuel. Fuel, gas, diesel, kerosene, propane. All those things are going to be wildly popular and traded. Number 5, seeds. Non-hybrid, heirloom, or organic seeds. Those are going to be used a lot. And let's see here. Number 4, hand tools. Hand tools and garden tools, those kinds of things. A lot of people don't keep those anymore. And when you move back to a situation where, you know, you can't afford to use gasoline in a tractor and all that kind of stuff, you know, you're just going to have to hoe that garden by hand, or you're going to have to saw the lumber, you know, with a hand saw. You know, the tools are going to be important because you're also going to go back to a time where you fix everything instead of just going and buying something new. So I think tools are going to be way up on the list here. Number 3, guns. Obviously, guns are going to be a big important. Number 2, spare parts for those guns. You know, when guns break down, you know, AR-15s, everybody's got one, but how many people have spare parts kits laying around? And the last one is ammunition. I think ammunition have a couple other videos talking about this subject. I think ammunition will be a very big form of currency even, you know, and it'll be traded a lot. So anyway, those are the top 50 items that I think will be bartered and traded in a SHTF, an extended SHTF situation. You know, and I think these things will become important basically once we start the rebuilding process. Now, when everything's going crazy and everybody's killing everybody else and all the big die-off is happening, that's not the point that I'm talking about. I'm talking about when things start to settle. and we start to reestablish commerce, we start to open up marketplaces and stuff like that, these are the items that are going to be, you know, pretty big, I think. But I recognize that I probably forgot some pretty important ones, because this is just kind of off the top of my head here. And so please put those down in the comments below. What did I forget? What would you add to this list? How would you change it? And if you think I'm wrong on something, tell me why I'm wrong. We'll continue the discussion down in the comments. Hey guys, as always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys. And if you like videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you don't get my videos frequently enough and you would like to see them more often, click the little bell down there as well. And that will send you an email notification for any time that I publish. Thanks again. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.